Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Naminen Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharinen Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschade Desatarinen. Hare Krishna. So today is the very auspicious day, being the disappearance day of His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada's camera is making me look down. See, the thing is, I'm going down like this. Is there any way you can put the thing up a bit? Because this is low, yeah? This is the, if this thing can be higher. No, put on the top here. No, it's better. So we're going to read about the transcendental activities of Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. Exactly, he left 1937. So today is 2020. So how many years is that?
64 years. No. 84.
How can be 84? It will be 83.
2021, not 20.
Huh?
It's 2021 now.
Oh, 2021. Still living on the past. So it's 64?
84.
80? 84 years have passed since he has left. So let us read about this. Within 300 years of the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotee incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the year 1534, the glorious, pristine Vaishnava tradition known as Gaudiya Vaishnavism had hit the bias in regard to its purity and reputation among people. In general, owing to the plethora of malpractices by pseudo-followers of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So many words here are very high-handed English. At best, it is known as a beggar's excuse. Can we, what is the line below? You can take it up. Published by Google Drive. It can't take that up. Excuse for living, the quintessential devotional conclusion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were almost completely lost. At that time, a pure devotee of Krishna named Bhaktivinoda Thakur descended into this world in the province of Bengal by the supreme desire of Lord Govinda. He grew up to be a very respectful government magistrate, and by his influence he widely propagated the hidden treasure of Krishna consciousness to the people at large from authentic scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. He was greatly saddened at the sorry state of affairs of the Vaishnava cult and single-handedly curbed the Vaishnavas and impress upon the higher class of society the glory of the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You know, Vaishnavism was degraded because they think it is a sex religion. All the people were keeping wives and they were also keeping some other woman, mistress. They think this is the Vaishnava because Krishna had many girlfriends, no? So they think that this is how it should be done. So many respectable people, they think this is morally off. They didn't want to participate in this Vaishnava religion at that time. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he came to clean up the mess. He started exposing the higher teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So through extensive travel, a tireless span topped by an exemplary character, Bhaktivinoda Thakur managed to bring Gaudiya Vaishnavism back to the fore. So he was a magistrate, so he was not some ordinary person. So because he was very highly placed, people respected him. And then he started, his writings and preaching. And of course, he was also praying for a son who could help spread the movement. So, in order that the preaching work go on unimpeded even after his departure from this world, he prayed to Lord Chaitanya to send him an assistant and successor from the Lord's personal staff of preachers. So he was praying for a very powerful personality to come and help expand the preaching. In answer to that prayer, a son was born to him on February the 6th, 1874. 1874, 2021, 147 years ago, almost 150 years ago. While he was serving as the government magistrate in the holy city of Jagannath Puri in Orissa. So he was born in Jagannath Puri. Where were you born? Puri. Where? You were born eating puri, I think. Just see, great personalities, they take birth in auspicious place. Understand? To take birth in a very holy city of Jagannath Puri. In fact, India, many places are holy, except the towns. But Calcutta is a place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also walked, When he was traveling, he walked through Calcutta. In Singapore, he walked. So whole India, some traces are there. He passed through maybe this Madras, Chennai. He passed through this, I don't know, he went to Hyderabad. Vijayanagar. He went to So, in fact, India, every corner is something is there. So you can see that through various signs and omens, it became crystal clear that this was the great soul that has been sent by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to carry out the preaching work that Bhaktivinoda Thakur had started. One of the signs was that the mother, when this boy was only 6 months, the cart, Jagannath Puri cart was passed there. How, if you go to, how many of you have been to Jagannath Puri? Only 2. See? You can go and see that Gaudiya Math is there. That used to be the house of Bhaktisiddhanta. And it's on the main road. And main road means Jagannath cart will pass by going to the Gundicha temple, almost to the end already the road, Have you been? Almost to the end. Just little more distance will be the Gundicha temple. So the cart came, and because his magistrate, so the cart stopped in a house. And taking advantage, the mother brought the baby up, and the priest took the baby onto the cart and placed the baby at the lotus feet of Jagannath. And when she did that, there's so many garlands on Jagannath, one fell on the boy. You had like that? I'm sure you had many garlands falling on you. Yes? Hey, auspicious sign. A boy, putting on the lotus feet of Jagannath, and so many garlands, and one fell on the boy. It's a blessing. And not only that, when he was born, he is born with his umbilical cord. This umbilical cord? This is the cord that it was coiled around his neck like a Brahmin thread. So he was born with the what? Symbol of because before him the Vaishnavas, they don't put Brahmin threads. Actually, only he introduced this. Of course, everybody is born with Upanayana. Yes? Most of them are born, not born, they take the thread. Correct? But the Vaishnava thing, what I read was introduced by him, giving second initiation, So you see, very extraordinary birth. And now here, one day when the boy was only about 3 years old, he had a mango that was supposed to be offered to the deity of Lord Krishna. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur found out, he chastised him by saying that it is not proper for Vaishnava to eat anything before offering first to Krishna. 3 years old boy, You understand? He accidentally had the mango, and his father told him, you cannot do this. The boy then vowed that he would never eat mango again as self-imposed punishment. Throughout his whole life, he kept this vow very faithfully. Whenever offered a mango, he would say, no, I cannot take, I am a great offender. Can you imagine? 3 years old. Yeah? So, This is the symptom of acharyas. They preach by example, you know. At the age of only 7, Bimal Prasad Dutt was later be known as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, had memorized all 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita and could explain each and every one of them. Hare Krishna. Have you memorized how many? 700? How many you have memorized? 1? 5? And not only memorize, he could explain also. This is, I mean, yeah, you can memorize, but you know, like a parrot, you can remember the whole 700, but it cannot, you don't know what's what, you know? That's not very. So to memorize and explain, this is. At the age of 10, he was initiated by his father into the Hare Krishna mantra and Narasimha Dev mantra. Later on, he attended special Sanskrit college where he became expert in Sanskrit grammar, Vedic Shastra and different views of philosophy. So at that time also he started one club, you know, that they will not get married. They will stay unmarried. So by the end of, I think, how many years? Only he was left, nobody else. You know, this Naistika Brahmachari never got married in the whole life. Due to his lifelong celibacy, he had such a clear memory that even in his last days he could reproduce word for word any passage of any book he had read 50 years back. "50 years back, you read a book and word for word you can remember." Edited memory they call it. They read, it's inside already. How powerful. That's why to become brahmachari, not release semen, very powerful. If you release your semen very loosely, then the memory is depleted. Ojas become tejas. You understand how powerful it is? But nowadays they are passing out free condom. Please release your semen like the. That's one verse in the Bhagavatam. The bulls and the cows, what? Releasing semen. There's a verse, no? You know? You should not, you understand? There is no teaching, nobody is teaching these things. Because they have no knowledge. Therefore they have become very dull-headed. You understand? Everything we need the machine to help. Without the computer, how to remember everything? Can? Even don't say, to do a basic calculation, we take the calculator. We cannot do it with our mental strength anymore. Yes? Finish. We are so independent. What the verse? I think it's first canto. Two, 3:18, no? Can you read?
Do Do the trees not live? Do the bellows of the blacksmith not breathe? All around us do the beasts not eat and discharge semen?
So animals. He was known as a walking encyclopedia. He was known as a walking encyclopedia. He will go into libraries and he will read the whole library. Every book in the library, he will read everything and he will remember. Yes. How powerful. I don't know if there's anybody like that now. Astronomical scholar. At college, he read all of the books in the library and made private studies into higher mathematics, international history, philosophy and Vedic astronomy. At that time, he attended a cultural association in Calcutta called the August Assembly, and which the study of various philosophical and theological topics were conducted. He was such a powerful debater that no one's argument could stand up against his vast erudition and scholarship. Nobody could defeat him. Powerful debater. He was very much accomplished in Vedic astronomy. He even ran a school to teach it and published several authoritative documents of Vedic astronomy, such as Surya Siddhanta, which he had authored himself. He was then offered the title Siddhanta Saraswati. Because he wrote the Surya Siddhanta, this astrological book, he was given the title Siddhanta Saraswati. Because then he took sannyas, he became Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Goswami. I mean, can you imagine? Actually, I also read that he discovered a star, you know. How far that is valid, I don't know. And this book is used as a what? Studying thesis in the Calcutta universities. How powerful. He was very expert in astrology. Then you see, he started attending, since 1895, he started attending the meetings of his father's Vishwa Vaishnava Rajya Sabha in Calcutta. He also wrote extensively on Krishna consciousness for local magazines. In 1901, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur requested his son to become initiated in the Gayatri Mantra and accept a spiritual master. The Thakur had one very beloved disciple, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, a very renowned Vaishnava saint of Navadvip. The Thakur requested his son to take initiation from him. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the Thakur then approached him, but Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who had no disciple, out of his infinite humbleness, refused to accept such a erudite pandit as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, when he himself could not even write his own name. See how his guru could not even write, and he was such a scholar, right? So disappointed, Saraswati Thakur went back to his father and related to him what had happened. But Thakur Bhaktivinoda sent him out again and again. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta came back with the same news. So this time the Thakur told his son, unless you take initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, your life is useless and no longer you may enter this house. The father gave him an ultimatum. Take initiation, otherwise don't come back. So what is he going to do? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati then set out with great determination, and meeting Srila Gaur Kishore Babaji, he told him that he would drown himself in the river if the Babaji did not accept him as a disciple. He said to him, my father has told me that human life is worthless without a spiritual master. So if you refuse to accept me as your disciple, I must kill myself. Actually, he was standing on the bridge, about to jump. And Gaur Kishore Das called him back. Upon seeing the young man's sincerity of purpose, the Babaji accepted him as his only disciple. Here, everybody is running to make disciples. They have even selling mantras to make disciples. See how much. And here, he refused to accept any. How much? From that year, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta travelled with Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his pilgrimage to all the principal holy places in India. During this time, he compiled a Vaishnava encyclopedia named Vaishnava Manjusa. In 1900, he was staying in Puri, where he began to publicly preaching the holy precepts of Srimad Bhagavatam. Can you to write an encyclopedia without the help of a computer? Is it possible? In those days, there's printing is also, what kind of printing machine they have? You have to put upside down. You have to see with the mirror. Letterpress they call it. I am telling you, you will get a heart attack if you work with those machines, And to make an encyclopedia. You understand? In 1900, he was staying in Puri. He started preaching Bhagavatam. What is 1900? What age is that? He born in 18?
26 years old.
23 years old already became a big preacher.
26.
26. What are you doing at 26? See, Acharyas, as then, of course, Shankaracharya all started preaching at 5 years old, I think. Madhvacharya, 5 years old, 8 years old. A different category. In 1905, at the age of 31, he began his great vow, following the example of Namacharya Das Thakur of chanting 300,000 holy names of the day. That is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On rosary comprising 108 beads, repeated 192 times every single day. That means what? 192 rounds per day. How many you doing? And we think we are big time devotees. After 16 rounds, we think we are Namacharyas. Yes? Can you imagine? 192 rounds, how many hours you will take? At least 15 to 16 hours a day. Non-stop chanting. Understand? He was staying in a hut. The hut was broken. Rainy season, rain was coming. You opened the umbrella, sitting underneath, and he was chanting still. He determined that at the rate of 300,000 names daily, it would take him 9 years to complete 1 billion names. That is not correct calculation, no? Huh? 300 names daily, you calculate, it will take at least what? No, 9 years. It will take at least 1 year plus,
Not 1 year.
1 billion, no? You calculate?
Yeah, 9.
Daily 300,000, 10 days will be already how much? 3 million, no? 300,000 daily, in 10 days is already 3 million.
Talking about 1 billion.
Yeah. 10 days, it will be 3 million. So 3 million times by 100.
And by 300.
Why 300?
3 million times 100 is 300 million. Times 3, 900 million.
It will take 9 years. 1 billion. 9 years.
9.13 years.
So it took 9 years to complete 1 billion names in order to invoke the blessings of Lord Krishna for propagating a worldwide Krishna conscious movement. He took up this Himalayan vow. He resided in a grass-hearted Yoga Pit. Yoga Pit is the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took birth. For 4 years, and in February of 1909, he built a cottage near the Yoga Pit at Vrajapatana. He strictly followed his vow and observed Chaturmasa, a special vow observed in the 4 months of the rainy season. Cooking rice which has been dried in the sun, in ghee and eating it from the floor in the manner of a cow. He would take rest lying on the ground, never using any pillows, and constantly chant and study the scriptures. You know, I think after this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Panchatattva appeared before him. I think, don't know, it is below.
This is very condensed.
So the Lord appeared and told him, you stop this, I want you to go out and preach, you came down to do preaching and sitting here and chanting. So then Lord ordered him to go and preach. In 1905, during the period of intense austerity, he travelled to the far southern province of India, lecturing, preaching, writing, debating, fully absorbed in the fire of propagating the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In south, he travelled to places such as Simachalam, that's Telugu, Madras, Tirupati, Kanchipuram, and many other places of pilgrimage. His strong preaching gave him such a reputation that his very name would strike terror in the hearts of his philosophical adversaries. He was such a powerful personality. He will go to one place, first he will land, second day he will defeat, and third day he will establish a mosque. 3 days. We are taking how many years to establish ourselves here? Understand? 3 days. When he came to Chennai, Madras, train landed only. He said, let's go now. No need to freshen up. Let's go now. Straight to the Theosophical Society. And he go there to defeat. If you go to Chennai, they have a Gaudiya Math there, Roy Bhatt. You know Roy Bhatt? It was established by him, The perverted and immoral so-called religious activities of different nonsense cults and sects were doomed forever in the presence of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was known all over as Shima Guru or the Lion Guru owing to his uncompromising and bold preaching style. So here he would be so bold in cutting everybody, chopping tactic. So Prabhupada was also using this uncompromising. So some of the God brothers were criticizing Bhaktisiddhanta for this, preaching very boldly. And Prabhupada said, whoever criticized, they fell down. Okay. So similarly, Prabhupada was also non-compromising. That's why you call people rascals and fools. Understand? So similarly, we also cannot compromise. Huh? No bilateral. This is what? Unilateral.
Some people say they are not on the level of Prabhupada to talk like that.
Yes, we are not in the level to talk like that, but at least we can follow. We are not imitators, but we are followers. We have been ordered to not compromise. I think I quoted that verse, correct? 17:24. You cannot say they are also good, we are also good. We must say what? We are only good. That means we don't compromise. You understand? We cannot imitate. Yes, there's two words. Anukaran and Anusharan. Anukaran means what? Imitating. Anusharan means following. So we've been ordered to repeat what we hear from Srila Prabhupada. And we have to say the word rascal. We'll use it anyway. You like it or not, that's your business. Our business is to please our, and if our spiritual master is pleased, Krishna is also pleased. Prabhupada said, I don't care for the whole world. I care for my Guru and Krishna. You understand? So we are also we cannot compromise. You understand? By saying that you are not Prabhupada, that means you are saying that what? You can have a different standard than Prabhupada? What? Yes? That means you want to have a different standard, correct? Any opinion different from the spiritual master will provide a what? Schism. Understand? And anything introduced materially into a spiritual movement, then it is useless. 12, Adilila 12:9. 12:9. Understand? We cannot try to think that we know better than our Guru. We cannot opinionate. That's not possible. Bhagavatam 3:24-13. You cannot say, I cannot accept this. You cannot. The moment you say that, you will fall down. 3:24-13. I cannot show those verses here because just to take another. Anyway, you take note, correct? You saw? The moment you opinion, you are followed. We cannot. Our idea is to repeat what we hear. Of course, be careful using the word rascals, but at least you can still say, the philosophy. Understand? So, in 1911, at All India Conference of Pandits at Midnapur, presided over by Pandit Vishwambara Ananda Deva. Were you there? Goswami, of course, not you. Related, maybe. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta taking the place of Thakur, because that time Bhaktivinoda Thakur was ill. At the time, a lecture to an astounding audience of the comparative position of a Brahmana and Vaishnava. After the discourse, all the people came forward to offer him respect and touch his lotus feet. President of the conference called him the other self of Sukadev Goswami. The lecture was subsequently published as a book in Bengali. First he went, and because all the Brahmins all were sitting there, he glorified the Brahmins. They were elated. And after that he smashed them by showing how Vaishnavas are higher. It devastated. It was such an astounding lecture that you can see. They called him the Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Understand? So powerful. See, that's why to preach, Prabhupada said, you need spiritual strength. If you don't practice the sadhana strictly, then what will go into the head? Correct? Cannot remember nothing, what to preach? Yes? In 1912, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta traveled and preached in different parts of Bengal. In 1913, he established the Bhagavata Press. And altogether he published and edited and wrote about 61 works and 8 different journals. He was also publishing a daily devotional newspaper called the Nadya Prakash. Once when he was asked how is it possible to publish a journal every day just about God, he replied that here in this world there are thousands of newspapers and magazines reporting the stale, repeated happenings of this limited space. So for reporting the news of the unlimited spiritual realm of eternal, ever-fresh, Supreme Personality of Godhead, we could publish a magazine every second. What to speak of daily? That was his reply. I said, they asked what to write, He says, if your material thing, every moment you got so many news, some mundane news, stale. What about the spiritual world, which is so much bigger? They say to write about the spiritual world, we write a magazine, magazine, not just some news, magazine, every second. That was his reply. So how dynamic is consciousness? He said that we must put the printing press beside the deity room. We have deity room like this, the printing press will be beside. So why? Because here, yes, this is kirtan, can go how far. But the printing press is the bigger kirtan, because you print the book, how many places he can go. That's why we chant our prayer, we said, Brahat Mridanga ki jai. This Brahat Mridanga is, of course now we have made more advancement, we have our internet, which is what? Can go how many millions of people. That's so powerful. Understand? Shall we use this in Krishna service? Actually, our preaching has expanded mainly because of the internet. Especially in our case, to present the real meaning of initiation. It was until we brought the book and all the videos and all, we are practically unheard. Now ISKM established. People know it is a ISKM. Yes? Yes? No. What? You don't know. If you don't know me, only I know, maybe he know. Just like Sukadeva, Lord Shiva is saying, I know Bhagavatam, Sukadev know. Vyasadeva know or don't know, I don't know. So like that you are sitting here. I know, maybe he knows, but you know or don't, I don't know. be convinced, yes. He always stressed the importance of publishing and distributing Vaishnava literature as a means of educating the mass of ignorant humanity in order to facilitate the printing of books and journals. He established 4 printing press. He called this press the Big Mridanga, clay drum used for large congregational singing group, because the sound, the message that they produced would be heard far and wide without limit. So he was very dynamic in his, press, printing press. It's not. One time he was sending one preacher to some place, was putting him in a train, and happened to be Janmashtami day. He ordered him to eat, break his fast, eat. No need to fast, you eat and then you go. See how much he transgressed all these rules of preaching. Yeah. You understand? So for a preacher, all these rules and regulations. In 1914, on the disappearance of Thakur Bhaktivinoda from this mortal world, the task to carry on the movement of Sri Chaitanya now lay in the hands of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was practicing, nirjana. He locked himself in the room, he will not talk to anybody, They send food under the door, every day, take the plate. So he was locked inside the room for 4 years. So in 1914, he left the world, So then the task of preaching was taken over by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He took over as the editor of the Father's Journal, the Sanjana Tosani, a monthly Vaishnava paper in Bengali. Later on in 1927, he converted to the English fortnightly called the Harmonies. So he also translated into Harmonies. What I heard is that he learned English on his own in a short time. 6 months time he mastered the language to write, and he read that. Up to now you cannot understand it. I mean, you can take the Brahma Samhita written by him, you understand? The transcendental autocrat.
Materialistic demeanor cannot extend to the transcendental autocrat.
I tell you these words. Demeanor, I never heard this word in my life. You understand? So you can see how he is very fluent in the language. At the age of 18, in 1918, at the age of 44, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati accepted the title Goswami Maharaj by taking renounced order of the life, sannyasa. So he took sannyas by the picture of his guru. He put the picture of his guru, and from the picture he took the sannyas. You also can try. Put the picture and take sannyas.
It's never possible to take initiation from a person who has passed away.
And here he did it. His guru, I think, left already, right? Because after Bhaktivinoda left, Gaurkishore also left. I think 1 year, 15, right? 1 year. He was blind actually, Gaurkishore. So he took initiation from a person who has, no, but that is sannyas. So anyway, the point is that he took and he introduced this sannyas to the Gaudiya Math. Because before that they all were becoming Babajis, there was no sannyas. They became all Babajis, wearing white color, cloth. Okay? That is higher than sannyas. But there is no incident that Bhaktisiddhanta took Babaji Vesh.
He did not want to take.
Why?
Because he did not want to be more than his Guru Maharaj. And also to respect the position of, because so many Babajis were there having affairs. So to keep the pedestal Babaji position, he said, my Guru Maharaj, Babaji, I will not even go there. That's my answer.
But then Gaudiya Math, many guys are accepting this Babaji. Bhaktisiddhanta did not accept, but Gaudiya Math, so many people are accepting. What is it? They are more than Bhaktisiddhanta. Huh?
Did they accept Babaji or only sannyas?
They are accepting Babaji.
Yeah, that Damodar also.
Yeah, I saw. So many guys.
I think they are associating with all those renowned Babas and all, they became like that.
And don't know nothing about nothing. Just wear the cloth, sit in Vrindavan and say, now I am with the gopis dancing. And then go and beg for some chapatis, eat nicely and sleep. And then have affairs with the widows. This is nonsense. You understand? That's why Prabhupada warned, stay away from the Radha Kund Babajis. Prabhupada ordered. Because this is what's going on in India. What's going on? Free flow of women, free flow of food. And what else to do? Understand? Put the Babaji waste and don't do any work. Unemployed. Right? Unemployment benefit, you get the widows and you get free food and a place to stay. Right? Good work, correct? So this is all really. So Bhaktisiddhanta, he never did that. On the same day he established the first Vaishnava monastery, the Chaitanya Mahadev, Sridham Mayapur, which became his preaching headquarters. I think this math is in the Yoga Pit, right? Yeah? Right? Chaitanya Math. This is Chaitanya Saraswati Math is different, no? This is Chaitanya Mahadev. In quick succession, after that he spread his Gaudiya mission to every part of India, attracting thousands of disciples to the banner of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In reply to a very favorable command on the Gaudiya Math temple by one gentleman, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta replied, my real business is to establish temples in everyone's heart. See? From the years 1919 to 1929, he was constantly travelling all over India, lecturing to crowds of thousands, debating, destroying various bogus religious sects and performing parikram, walks to holy places with his disciples in different sacred sites, seeking to improve and preserve them. His tours during the years 1926 to 1928 marked a very important place in the Gaudiya movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the history of India as well. He brought about changes and improvement in various ways in all the sacred places as well, and brought many followers of different religious sects all under the banner of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement. Wherever Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would go, he was received as a savior and prophet by all. In some state he was received as an honored state guest. See how much he was revered. So powerful. I think around this time he sent some disciple to London, because he was very kind of upset with his Ramakrishna mission. They also, brahmachari will wear saffron, and they will go, and he also started, we all our brahmacharis wear saffron cloth. And they were all over the world. So he started to send his first few disciples to London, So he was dynamic. His vision was to expand it to every town and village. That was his zeal, preaching zeal. You know. So of course he sent the two person, right? And for 3 years they were in London, they could not do nothing. And he was very disgusted with them. He called them back. You know, mission was a failure. Called them back. All these tours were highly successful, but were not without their problem, because of many of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur disciples, although initiated the Brahmanas and Sannyasis, were not Brahmana families. Along the way, while travelling, the so-called Brahmana shopkeepers would close their shops and refuse to sell provision to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and his disciples. So there was some boycotting. Yeah? First of all, if he is a Brahmana, why is he doing in the shop? Huh? If you are Brahmana, why are you doing in the shop? That means you become Sudra, correct? Vaishya in Sudra. Right? And he is boycotting somebody who is preaching. Can you imagine this? Huh? We also, when we went to Bhadrachalam, you know, we have Saffron preaching, and he came to the Brahman Samaj. We went to see whether we can get some, you know. Then the man in his lungi, I remember still vividly, he was his lungi holding a baby, you know. I don't know, he had a cigarette. Huh? He was holding the baby and he told, what is it? Born Brahmins are allowed here. Converted Brahmins are not allowed here. Can you imagine the statement he made? And he is wearing his lungi. Huh? Understand? Yes. Envious. They are what? Envious. So you see how they are boycotting. In fact, they not only boycotted, they plan to actually assassinate Bhaktisiddhanta also. You know, assassinate. So they paid the police inspector money in Vrindavan. You know, they say, you please kill him. The police inspector went and reported to Bhaktisiddhanta. Yeah, of course I do things like this, but to kill a holy man, that's against my... See how, to what extent, you know. Same thing also with us. Now we are preaching about Prabhupada as the Guru. They are trying to assassinate us. Huh? You see how much people are so much envious. Srila Saraswati Thakur could always preach very strongly against the nonsense philosophy of these proud and arrogant caste Brahmins. He always emphasized the needlessness of material qualification to receive spiritual life. Anyone, regardless of caste, sex, nationality, past background, etc., who was sincere to have spiritual life, he would give it to them. This is what? Yasyahal Lakshanam Proktam. You know, it is Lakshanam Proktam. You know what the meaning of Lakshanam Proktam? According to your qualification. Not according to your birth. Of course, now nobody cares anymore. Correct? If you say you are Brahmin, you are put under what? Worse than scheduled class.
Scheduled class have more.
That's why the Brahmin, they take out the Why they put like this? Because of offences. Understand? Now they don't want to identify with this Brahmin thing anymore, because they don't get seats, they will put no jobs. You have to go to the shop and sell your provision. Yeah.
No, they're driving autos now.
Auto driver. Yeah, you know, Prabhupada was saying one tela wala, no? Tela wala. What is that? Carrying, pushing the cart. And one guy is calling it hello Panditji, and the guy is pulling the tela, and is Panditji. Huh? Understand? So see how they have degraded themselves. It's because of offences. You understand? Practically they have screwed themselves through it. Yeah? These caste Brahmins were very much in an uproar about is turning those not born in Brahmana families into better Brahmanas than them. The Nityananda Vamsas especially plotted to assassinate him and went to the local police magistrate to bribe him so that he would not apprehend them after the murder. The police magistrate told them that although he usually accepts bribes, he could not be connected with killing of a sadhu or holy man. Has I told you the story just now? Okay. The police magistrate then immediately informed Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and this way Srila Saraswati Thakur's life was saved. You know, at one time he was going on parikram and there was an attack, by some unscrupulous, Yeah. So what they did, I think this, what's his name, the Sannyas Guru of Prabhupada? Kesava Maharaj. Because he looks like Bhaktisiddhanta, no? So they made him take his place. And they brought Bhaktisiddhanta away. So they parikram went, and he, of course they attacked by the wrong person. And how much, because politics, they just want to mess around. Because now this problem is not there, the caste Brahma. Because it's still here. In Singapore they have some Brahma Samaj, they don't recognize us, You understand? They're drinking coffee and tea, onion and garlic and eggs. And what they pass a resolution in the Brahmana Samaj, eggs are allowed. Yeah? And we, although doing our regulation, puja and everything, we are considered as what? Outcasts. Can you imagine this? Yeah? You see? Same problem. Same. Born Brahmins, especially the envious one. Understand? They cannot. Of course, we were going to Jagannath Puri, and of course now we all have got one Gotra called Achyuta Gotra. We are servants of Achyuta. So we were on the line, and we were going to go into the temple, and they are, what Gotra? Achyuta Gotra. What Gotra? All of you Achyuta, that means all bogus. We couldn't go inside. We had to go to the police station. We came to see Jagannath and we were brought to the police station. Can you imagine? Why? Your Gotra is all the same. If you have no Gotra, you go in, please. If you say your Gotra is the same, you please cannot go. Something is wrong. Is it? Can you imagine this? This is going on. I was shocked. Lucky they didn't make me write a statement. They call it in India FIRI, right? First incident report. We didn't have to write that, unfortunately. So, innovating preaching technique. In 1930 and 1931, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur demonstrated the import and teachings of the Vedic literature by means of huge exhibition in which pictorial representation by means of dioramas and dolls in lifelike manner were employed. This wonderful exhibition would draw at least 100,000 visitors daily during a month-long period. You see, this is how Prabhupada also did. He made dioramas. The first one was exhibited in our temple in London and Los Angeles. They have a museum called First. What is it? What? Faith. What is theistic exhibition? Something like that. And there all the pastimes of the Lord were made, Because now this thing is more high tech, they make animatronics, can move, and I think now, I don't know, this thing is still very dynamic now because robotic has taken over.
Robots also are very bulky things, all projection screen.
Very costly, the whole thing, and you cannot change the team, so it's very expensive. Of course, in there they can make these clay dolls, in Bengal they're very expert in their artistic, they can depict the pastimes in on clay, so it's much more cheaper. Of course, clay don't last long, they have a tradition that the clay thing is thrown in the Ganga, especially they make the clay form of Durga during Durga Puja, or they make this in Maharashtra, the Ganesh. This is 2 states they make these big deities, right? So they will then immerse them in of course Ganesh will go to the sea and Durga will go into the Ganga. Okay, so then it's washed out. So not so costly. But if you make them permanent, then you have to, people coming, they're not so to see something over and over again, it's a little bit difficult for the conditioned soul, They like to see always changes, so it's a costly affair actually. But it's very dynamic, to make an exhibition model, to depict the pastime to the Lord. It's a very, I saw Prabhupada's idea, if you go to Vrindavan, I think the other group, that Kripalu men, they have also made that, Have you been there? You seen? In the night, I think they are drawing a lot of people, because of the dioramas. It is. If we can do that of course our place is limited space. I think the Bangalore, Vrindavan, they wanted to do some kind of theme park, no? Yes, some ideas are there. I don't know this. In 1933, eager to preach Lord Chaitanya's message beyond the borders of India, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur sent some of his sannyas disciples to England to preach and open Gaudiya Math in the West. So this is the incident of sending people to London. It happened in 1933. I think what is that? Bon Maharaj and one more person went to preach to the Westerners to take up spiritual life. They returned to India unsuccessful after 3 years. They were going and preaching to all those, the lords and the big people, they were preaching to them. And of course, there's one incident, what's his name? Lord what? He went and asked them, can you make me a Brahmin? Huh? What is the name of the Lord? The Swamiji said, yes, we can make you Brahmin, no problem. You have to follow these 4 principles. What are they? No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication. And he replied, impossible. You see how they are addicted to these 4 things. So we discussed it because the money was sent from India to keep them in London. For 3 years they tried, nothing. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called them back. Fortunately, for the benefit of people of the world, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's most beloved disciple, is Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, later on carry out his Guru Maharaj order and spread Lord Chaitanya's Nam Samkirtan movement to every corner of the globe, and is now been assisted by thousands of his disciples in this preaching work. So, by the desire, his desires, to spread it all over the world has been greatly fulfilled by our Srila Prabhupada. Of course, we can also add on this auspicious day that to further expand the movement that practically has dwindled in his preaching effort, our International Sri Krishna Mandir has now taken the helm, pushing forward this preaching movement very vigorously to every part of the world by establishing what Srila Prabhupada intended to become the sole Diksha Guru for everybody. Unstoppable till the end, disregarding the request of his medical advisor, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur continued to deliver the message of the Supreme Lord to all people up to the last moment of his life. This was the only purpose of his divine appearance in the world. His whole life was absorbed in the mood of loving devotion to the Lord. He was fully devoted to the propagation of teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the noble example of his life and conduct. His powerful speeches and numerous publications are evidence to the fact. On January 1st, 1937, at 5:30 a.m., at the age of 62, he left this mortal world and re-entered the loving pastime of Sri Radha and Krishna in the spiritual kingdom. So at that time when he was going to leave in the night, he was speaking to all his disciples about the importance of preaching. He spoke so many things. He never appointed anybody to become the next in line. He never. He said, you organize a GBC and wait for the self-effulgent Acharya to appear. But as soon as he left, his foolish disciples started appointing some people as next in line. And those people, they fell down, and the whole movement broke up. Practically now, nobody knows what is this Gaudiya Math. Do you know what Gaudiya Math? Now you say yes. When I say ISKM, you must not say like that. Now you can say, I don't know Gaudiya Math. Nobody knows, correct? Yes or not? It has become what? Oblivion, because of the lack in dynamic preaching. Similarly, if we do not preach, then we will also disappear, and nobody will know. So preaching is very, very important. We cannot let the desires of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we cannot let him down. No. And Prabhupada also ordered us, I am an old man, I will also pass away, but you all are very young, so please push on this Krishna conscious movement. That was Prabhupada. I think he spoke like that on the Disappearance Day lecture. And then of course he started crying. So similarly, we have an obligation. We have to preach Krishna consciousness to the length and breadth. That should be our purpose of life. There is nothing else. Prabhupada took the challenge at a very late age, correct? Almost at 70 years old he went. We are all not 70 years old, no? Yes? So we should preach very, very strongly. Because at this time he was living, he chanted this song, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, that song. Wanted to hear that song passing away. Actually, Prabhupada said that my Guru Maharaj would have stayed much longer. He would have stayed many, many more years. But because he was surrounded by his neophyte disciples and he was disgusted with them, he left. You understand this point Prabhupada made? So we should not become neophytes. We should always what? Advance and take up the role of preaching. That should be our, what we say, objective. At the time of his passing from this world, he had opened 64 Gaudiya Math for the propagation of spiritual life and Bhagavad philosophy. In all this Math, he established the worship of the Archa Vigraha, deity form of the Lord. The deity worship was executed according to the principle of Sanatana Goswami's book, Vaishnava Activities, Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas. So he set up this, 64 temples all over India. All the major cities had Gaudiya Math, Similarly, Prabhupada, he established more than 108 temples all over the world. Right? So it is a very, from the point that Bhakti Vinod started, when they were looking at a very disgraceful manner, the Vaishnava philosophy, and now to him time to establishing the temple all over India. And Prabhupada took it all over the world. And you will take it all over the universe. Yes? No? So please take it seriously. At least make your family devotees for the start. Yes? So we have a very big responsibility. You understand? We cannot take this lightly. We have a lot to do. And so I am getting old. I am already 65. He passed away at 62, and I am 65. I have not even done nothing. So I don't know how much more to do with the whole body. But you all are much more dynamic. Correct? Don't waste your time going to the office and factories. Try to put some time for preaching Krishna consciousness. It's not very difficult now with the modern amenities, internet and so many things, that you can preach very widely just sitting on your desk. Yes? You got so many channels, yes? And try to learn the philosophy and preach boldly. So, not only now they have this Zoom. Everybody is Zooming now. Yes? Correct? And you can be thousands of miles away and still you can reach out. So we can have hundreds of Zoom classes. How much we can reach out? Correct? But first we need hundreds of preachers. Yes? So we need to read the books. We have to associate. Yes? As Prabhupada said, we must know the books so thoroughly as the lawyer knows the law books. That much thorough we should be. Correct? So I think you all are very intelligent. Why not read the book and preach? Yes? So this is not very difficult. Please, especially now with the help of the softwares, you don't have to carry 50 books along. You just have got it all on your, all on the phone you have, right? Yes? And instead of reading the books, we are doing something else. Yes? How convenient, correct? So why not take it up? And this will please Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and all the acharyas, They will be very pleased if we can expand the preaching movement. Actually, I will just show you before I leave. I think I sent it to you, right? Everybody got that thing I sent? WhatsApp message I sent? The prayers in English. Yeah. There are about some prayers in this road. We are put to test and trial in this world. Only those who attend the kirtan of the devotees can succeed. The first one. Is it there? Huh? So it says here, number 2, every spot on earth where discourses on God are held is a place of pilgrimage. The place, temple, house, everywhere. Third, possession of object not related to Krishna is our main melody. How to zoom in?
Just pinch and zoom. Then close the sidebar.
Okay, can see?
Not really.
Let me not desire anything but the highest good for my worst enemies. As dalliance with the body is in luxury increases, so wanes the spirit of the service of the Lord. So if we increase our sense gratification, then spiritually we become weak. Those favored by God find their path set by thorns. I think it's very true. Except the consolation that we are favored by God. There is no peace or happiness in our worldly life. Circumstances create turmoil and annoyance. Chant the Mahamantra loudly and with attachment. This will drive away inertia, worldly evils and pests. Be indifferent to bazaar gossip. Stick firmly to your cherished goal. No lack or impediment of the world will ever stand in your way. See? So don't succumb to gossip. Pay due respect to the extroverts of the world, but do not be appreciative of their manners and conduct. They are to be shaken off from your mind. In other words, you become indifferent. A devotee feels the presence of God everywhere, but one averse to the Lord denies His existence anywhere. Right? You cannot appreciate transcendental matters with reasoning of the world. It is sheer nonsense to decry them with the measuring stick of your intellect. How he writes. for a person who learns English in 6 months. To recite the name of Sri Krishna is bhakti. Life is for the glorification of topics on Hari. If that is stopped, then what is the need is there to carry on life? And better to die if you cannot chant. Physical illness with Hari Bhajan is preferred to physical fitness without Hari Bhajan. Our span of life on earth is short. Our life will be crowned with success if the body wears out with constant discourses on Hari. We are here on earth not to work as artisans for making big buildings with wood and stone, but to work only as messengers for the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Deva. A sycophant, flatterer or waterer down of the philosophy is neither a guru nor a preacher. And there may be no compromise. To transform the adverse desires of the jiva is the supreme duty of the most merciful. To rescue one person from the stronghold of Mahamaya is an act of superb benevolence, far superior to opening innumerable hospitals. See? This welfare group people, they propagate opening hospitals, especially the Ramakrishna Mission. It's better to make one devotee than to open these hundreds of hospitals. Now in ISKCON also they have got in this habit of opening hospitals. Unless we are devoted to God, secularism shall not leave us. This is a very important point. Right? Unless we are devoted to God, secularism shall not leave us. That means the bodily concept, thinking I am what? I am this body, I am so and so, consciousness will never leave us if we do not take up Krishna consciousness. Look within, amend yourself rather than pry onto the frailties of others. So look at our own faults rather than judge others. In this world of Maya, averse to the Lord, full of trials and tribulation, only patience, humility and respect for others are our friends for Hari Bhajan. The only people you really need is devotees. The Lord Gaurasundar puts his devotee in various difficulties and association to test their patience and strength of mind. Success depends on their good fortune. When faults in others misguide and delude you, have patience, introspect and find faults in yourself. Know that others cannot harm you unless you harm yourselves. I wish that every selfless, tender-hearted person of Gaudiya Math will be prepared to shed 200 gallons of blood for the nourishment of the spiritual corpus body of every individual of this world. So spending 200 in our body, there's how many gallons? Medically? How many gallons you have in your body, blood? So you have to spend 200 gallons. That means what? To work relentlessly to preach Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Alright, you can read the other part, you can read, and Prabhupada is quoting all this. So I have sent that to you, and you please. So anything else to add? Of course, I missed out the story of Bhaktisiddhanta trying to save the body of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji when the disciples were going to drag him in the streets, So he went there and challenged them and took the body of Bhaktisiddhanta, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and put in some. So that story is there. I missed out, but you can always hear. Alright, so we stop here. I guess we'll have the Pushpanjali at 12 o'clock. And so please try to arrange for all those Pushpanjali and have the flowers and everything ready. And I think you have to put the offering here. The Arati will be done here. And of course there, 2 Arati. And then we will not have much time to discuss because it is afternoon time. But I'm sure you can pass on all this you hear, or you can get this article, and you can post it up in your, this way you know how great personality Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, especially his dynamism and his desire to preach. So we should also imbibe these transcendental qualities and try to expand the preaching length and breadth. Alright, all glories, Hare Krishna.